Hi guys, welcome back to Fort Reads. That was such a short chapter, I figured we would just go ahead with chapter 5 at 9 p.m. Luckily the moon was full, so I could watch my steps as I walked without turning on the flashlight and wasting the battery life. I scanned the ground for rattlesnakes. Once I heard the majority of people bitten by rattlesnakes were drunk men at night, and I believed it because it happened to my own great-grandfather. I was 2 for 3 here, and no, I wasn't drunk. I could see the mine in the distance as we got closer, a dark hole in the middle of the silvery mountain. Abyss, a deep or seemingly endless chasm. "You should just give this up and we can both go home," Matthew said. "Forget about Rossi. Bo will never give that bike back anyway. He's determined to win tomorrow." "Yeah, he knows the only way he can win is for her to not race." I stood at the entrance of the mine and took a swig of my warm water, which did have a faint pickle flavor. I evaluated the blackness. Yeah, it was really black. Evaluation over. I turned on the flashlight and inched forward. Matthew followed closely behind me. "Maybe you shouldn't follow me," I said. The guy was a jerk for being friends with Bo, but if the mine did cave in, I didn't want him to die too. "I have to make sure you find gold in the actual mine." Yeah, I forgot Bo's orders. Matthew shoved me forward. "Stop being a baby and move." Someone had already smashed several slats in the wooden barricades, so we easily climbed through them. The mine smelled all of its 100 years old, like dirt and rot and hot air that never moved. I shined the flashlight on the large wooden planks that were somehow holding the mountain above us. "Please don't fall," I begged the century-old wood, imagining the entire mountain coming down on our heads. "We might not make it out if that happened." "We'd better go in deep," Matthew said. "I'm sure this whole area is cleaned out." "I don't need your advice." I didn't want to go deeper into the mine, but I knew Matthew was right. I pointed the flashlight ahead as we walked slowly together. The air was so hot and thick, I could feel it pushing back on me with every step. I was aware of every breath as it filled my lungs, making them heavy. "That's the part that caved in when those 2 drunk guys went in," Matthew whispered when we came to a fork. "One direction was a mess of rubble. I guess they're still in there. No, they found those bodies, but the dead Frenchman is still back there somewhere." Creepy. I saw this ghost hunting show, and Dead Frenchman Mine was on it. They said it was haunted by all the people who died here. That's ridiculous, Matthew. I'd seen the show too. Everyone in Nowhere had seen it. It wasn't often Nowhere got in the news or on TV, but when it did, everyone watched. They had this machine that could record what ghosts said, and they recorded one saying, "Snooze, snout, toe duty." What does that even mean? Matthew shrugged. "I don't know, but they said it was proof that there were ghosts in here. One of the guys on the show got all scratched by the ghosts. He showed the scratches on his arm." I rolled my eyes. "Or maybe he bumped into the rocky wall." "No way, they were definitely ghost scratches." We went down a different corridor until we reached the dead end. "I guess we can try here." I shined the flashlight on the dirt wall embedded with rock. "It's as good a place as any." I eased my backpack onto the ground, careful not to break my jar of water, and removed the hammer and chisel. I put it back on in case I needed to make a quick escape. I tapped on the wall gently with my chisel. "That's gonna do a lot," Matthew said. "I'm testing it," I snapped. Truth was, I had no idea what I was doing, but I was terrified the whole mine would cave in if I hit the wall any harder. I built up my courage with every tap and eventually was pounding the chisel hard enough to take some chunks out of the wall. "Why don't you inspect the pieces I get off and see if you find any gold?" I told Matthew, who was holding the flashlight for me. "Can't do that and hold the flashlight and jelly jar at the same time." "You could put the jelly jar down. A bug might crawl in it." I shook my head and went back to hammering the chisel. And then I heard something. I stopped, thinking it might have been an echo. "Did you hear that?" I said. "Hear what? I don't hear any." "Shh!" I stared at the ground and concentrated on listening. I definitely heard something. Voices. I looked up at Matthew. "Oh my gosh," he said, the flashlight shaking in his hands. His eyes bulged with fear. "It's the ghosts." Have a good night, guys.